Let's continue on with complex numbers. First thing we need to note is that the fundamental theorem of algebra says an nth degree polynomial has n complex roots. So we know from before, if we have, 3x squared plus 2x minus 4, all right, it's a second degree polynomial, so there are two zeros. And as we know by solving quadratics, those zeros could be real, meaning they could be rational or irrational, or they can now be complex, so have an I, a plus bi. So, but we know there has to be two of them. All right. And then if I were to add another term, 4x cubed, now there is going to be three zeros, and so forth and so on. So 5x fourth, we now know that there are four zeros. Okay, and realize those can be zeros, can be real or complex, and they may also repeat. So you could have like x minus 2 times x minus 2. So that would be the 2 would be a repeating zero. Okay. The next thing to note, if you do have a complex root, a plus bi, then the complex conjugate, a minus bi, is also a root, or a zero. Okay, so if I'm given 1 minus 2i is a root, I then know 1 plus 2i is a root, and so on. And let's do an example of that. So the question says, find the zeros, or find the polynomial function. Find the polynomial with these zeros. Let's say -3 and 2 minus I. Okay, so the first thing is, since I know 2 minus I is a root, that means 2 plus I is also a root. All right, and know that if we go from root or zeros to factors, then -3, x equal negative 3 means x plus 3 equals 0. So x plus 3 is a factor. And then x minus, and I'm just going to use a bunch of parentheses here, 2 minus I is one factor, and x minus 2 plus I is a factor. And let's just clean this up. First thing I'm going to do is just clean up these parentheses. So I know that x plus 3 is a factor, and x minus 2 plus I and x minus 2 minus I are factors. So let's multiply these two together first. And I like to do the 3 by 3 box here. So I got x minus 2 plus I and x minus 2 minus I. And fill in the boxes. I have an x squared. I have a minus 2x. And I have an xi. This is negative 2x also. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, and then a negative 2i. And then I got a negative xi, a positive 2i, and a negative I squared. Nice things happen here. Those cancel out. That one and that one cancel out. And this negative I squared, remember, is negative times the square root of -1 squared. So it's a negative of -1, which is a positive 1. So what that tells me is I got an x squared. I got negative 2x, and negative 2x is negative 4x. And then I have a 4 plus 1 plus 5. So moving on, I know that I have x plus 3 times x squared minus 4x plus 5. And using my organizer, I've got x plus 3, x squared minus 4x plus 5. So that's x cubed. minus 4x squared, 5x, 3x squared, negative 12x, and 15. So that leaves me with x cubed. Got that one. Negative 4x squared and a positive 3x squared is minus x squared. So I got those taken care of. Negative 12x, positive 7x is a negative 7x plus 15. I'll clean that up for you. Plus 15. And that's my function. And note it's a third degree function. And I have 3 zeros. Done.